Welcome to Miracle Nutrition with Hearty White. I'm Hearty White. Join me now, won't you, for a full hour as we go on adventures together. We travel the universe and undo our expectations. I've listened to this show already and I've made many, many mistakes. See if you can pick them out. Compare them to another show. Hand reposition. Railing missing. Doorknobs on other side. Oh, the differences are endless. I am trying to achieve balance. Like Thai food or a gymnast. I want to find my center so I can find the center of all human beings. You can't be all things to all people unless you're all things to all people, man. Does he exist? Or is he a mirror? And we see ourselves in ourselves. Hey, I like you. You remind me of me. Hey, I hate you. You remind me of me. So I will try not to be all things to all people, but know things to know people at all times to all of you. And I hope that works. Oh my goodness, I can't make you laugh. First of all, I don't want to make you laugh too deeply because a lot of my listeners I know have abdominal wall weaknesses. And I don't want you to I say something funny and it tickles you so much that your intestines poke through some weak part of your muscle. And I don't want that. I've had that. I had to go to the hospital for that. And it's not pleasant. Let me tell you, I gotta stuff them all back in again. Why would you do that? Now I'm laughing, Hearty. I'm sorry. It's so funny. Like some things, like booze being a cure for the hangover. Isn't that funny? But I want to surprise you more than anything else. Because I know deep in my heart that appearances aren't everything. I mean, they're something. They're appearances. But they're no indication of what's inside. And you know that if you've ever received a Japanese confection as a gift. You go, oh my goodness, that looks lovely. And you take a bite and it's sweetened Adzuki paste. I am sweetened Adzuki paste. Now some of you are saying, oh, I like that. I know I do too, but I have to know it's coming. It's when you don't know something's going to come. Let's say you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles and there you see some performance art right there in the corner. You might not know it's a play. You're not expecting avant-garde theater right there in the DMV, but it could be. They could have gotten some kind of grant. We want to have art in public spaces. So they say, well, we'd like to do Beckett at some sort of city office. All right, here's some money. What kind of props do you need? Oh, I don't know. Just drugs, I guess. Maybe I'm a drug for you. Oh, that'd be wonderful. Some of the ones that you literally put in your body can be harmful. But if I could be the equivalent of some sort of, I don't know, morphine suppository for you, and over time, I just take the edge off the pain a little. Well, I take all the pain away until you're so blissed out you make bad decisions. Well, we don't want to go that far. It's not for me to sort of temper things. I did say I was trying to achieve balance, didn't I? But sometimes I just go crazy with the fish sauce. Because you want to emphasize the things that are obvious sometimes. But it's the subtleties. Yes, it's the subtleties. Like people always don't taste the pencil in my pad thai, but I put just a little bit of pencil in there. Yes, you heard me right. And if you just do it, if you do it too much, it's bitter, and you can taste the shavings. But it's a matter of a suggestion. I want there to be a patina of originality and thoughtfulness and something to me, but it's just that maybe. You know how they make something silver by aiming some kind of silver beam at it? I don't even know. It's not even a coating. It's just electra something. Maybe I'm that. I don't want to add to your burden. I would never do that to you consciously. I may sneak something into your luggage and then sneak it out on the other end and make you an inadvertent mule for some kind of idea I have. But listen, I would never, it wouldn't be something heavy. It would be some small insight or something that I stuck into your skull, and then I'd take it out later. Maybe when you're not using your skull. And that, I think maybe when I was a little kid and went through pirate liking phase, I think, and it was really maybe a skull liking. I think I just wanted an excuse to look at skulls, and that's just maybe a memento mori, man contemplates himself sort of, right? Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, by the way. I knew Yorick. I'm not trying to ghoul on it. I know he's just recently died, but I went ahead and posted a picture of myself and Yorick on social media. And I wrote a long, touching thing about how he's a fellow infinite jest and everything like that, but it's true. Yeah. And I just dug him up. That's how I know. Because I just dug up his skull. Isn't that what's going on in Hamlet? I don't know. My goodness. You know how I am with theater. I don't go enough. And probably like that with urinating, too. Drink more water. All of you. You're not going enough is the problem. And someone said that to me. Someone in a service industry relationship, right, said to me, unsolicited one time, maybe we were talking about health. They said that they weren't real happy with the color of their urine. And, you know, I said, well, there's two things you could do. You could drink more water or get a darker toilet. We really don't know what other people are going through, what their lives are like, do we? We all leave what they say, lives of quiet desperation. I don't know, that was said before social media. No longer is people's desperation quiet. It's quite vocal, voluminous, loud declarations of desperation and discontent. Oh, moaning, in fact. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Oh, deep, dark depression, excessive misery. Oh, if it weren't for hee-haw of something, they were all on acid. That's what I heard. Thank you. That was one of the hee-haw themes, if you ever saw it, if you're old enough to have seen that show. There was a wonderful, boy, we were just drowning in Southern stereotypes back then. It was quite something. And, God, that was crazy. And they all turned out to be true. But they weren't at the time. Isn't that funny? It was almost like a prediction of the future. Now we got all those things. Now they all exist. My goodness. Hee-haw, real Green Acres are out there. Just the product, the imagination of writers now. It's become reality. Isn't that dangerous? Something like Barney Miller. Boom, now it's real. That happened in a lot of things. Star Trek, Star Wars got predicted. Star Trek, they had some kind of device. Now they have it. Star Wars predicted that there'd be these cantinas that people have noses that look like those things you blow at soccer games. Trumpety things. Zazazaphone. I still will never get over how the Sherwood Schwartz, Gilligan's Island was a sort of comedy dell'arte or something, or at least or some kind of metaphor. You know, he thought these people represent all of society. And I go, oh, wow. They don't, though. That's interesting. They may be like your friends, or I don't really know. You know, these represent my 5 friends or my neighbors. because all of society is a stretch. You know, that Thurston Howell type. He's everywhere. So I don't even know. But and Gilligan is the everyman. You need to go to hell. So I bless his heart. As much as I like Bob Denver, and I do, and who doesn't? And he is an actor's actor. Is that 3? But I will tell you what, that who wants to be that stupid character? And then he did get typecast as somebody who gets everybody lost, which he should have played the mother in Flannery O'Connor's A Good Man Is Hard to Find, with Bob Denver as the grandmother. Isn't that, she gets everybody, I think it's here. Is anybody laughing? I think there's somebody saying, I'm an English major from the 80s. Oh, in the wilderness, it's a lonely thing to be a human being. And when you're a child, it just seems like everybody else, you're all on the same page. You say, oh, they're all here. I think they're all here to help me. And it's just beautiful. Say, oh, look, they're all looking at me. Oh, look at the new baby. Boy, that wears off. And then you're discarded. And then you're just another, what? Nothing. The fire hydrant of a person. You become one of the many telephone poles, power poles of a human being. That is something that we see but don't see. And we look past, and sometimes we just go up and we staple a flyer for a show. Well, that doesn't happen as much anymore. Instead of flyers for shows, then it's just, we buy homes. We buy diabetes strips. Or something like that. Just all positive stuff. Stapled to you. The human being that stands at these intersections like so much architectural goop. Are you a service station? Are you a vape shop? I felt really, really, really vulnerable when they would make you do that back in the day. That's okay, part of our fundraiser is we're going to sell these inedible, fill in the blank, candy bars, turtle cluster candies. Waxy turtle cluster candies in a box, and just some kind of repulsive looking packaging too, and some kind of really unappealing box, right? Oh, it's a kind of a dark green, not a nice dark green, like a military green and pink and with white writing that says chocolata or something really gross. And then, you know, it's not enough to just sell them. Like, you run out of relatives quickly. And then they literally used to at least want you to peddle them door to door. Like a Victorian rag salesman. But you're a child. You're a little suburban child. And they go, okay, you got to go door to door. You know? And, oh, hello, I'm selling chocolates for something elementary school. And at least back in they had no compunction yelling at children. That anybody who would tell an adult to off, it would tell a child, usually, is the rule. And except that I was in no real emotional state to hear that from a get off my property. It hadn't come up before because I was a very accommodating, law-abiding child. And I never got on anybody's property, didn't want me there. So when they'd tell you, get off my property with your inedible chocolates, I mean, they were right. It was hard to argue with them. I wouldn't, and then I would just turn it all inward. It was hard to, I was like, I agree with you. What am I supposed to do? Switch schools? You don't, poor kids. I know it gets worse than that. Hey, it gets worse, kids. But you got to be prepared. Now, I have noticed that a lot of people are nostalgic for things that they had in the past as children. And it occurred to me that if Citizen Kane were around today, that he would have a large house, yes, but not a mansion. It would be a recreation of his childhood room. And it would have in it countless rosebuds. It would have the original sled that he had as a child restored, and then he would have dozens of duplicates, some of them never opened out of the box from when he was a kid. But that's not just that. He could have everything that he ever laid his eyes on when he was little that gave him comfort, that could take him back there. Permanent nostalgia. Oh my goodness, then what kind of story would Citizen Kane be? Citizen Candy Cane? I'm going to keep a list of fake surnames to use so I don't have to say Whoosy Watt or so-and-so or something like that. I'm going to hear from the Whoosy Watt family. Dear Hearty White, you so amusingly use the word Whoosy Watt. We use that. That's a euphemism for genitalia in our family. No, it's a surname. It's a German surname. That did come up with an uncle. What was I had a colorful, no, it wasn't colorful, actually. He was all dressed in gray all the time. And, but I adored him. This was a New Jersey, I say this because he is a New Jersey uncle. And is that like Dutch uncle? Is that an expression? It is. My New Jersey uncle, by Hearty White. My New Jersey uncle lived in Haddonfield, but worked in Camden for Campbell's Soup Company. He ordered shoes from a catalog and went to sleep with the television on. He wore white shirts tucked into gray pants every day. And he told me that in his closet there were people living, namely a man named Mr. Hovey-Stover. And I thought about that for a long time, and I thought about the Hovey-Stovers and just Mr. Hovey-Stover just living in that closet there. And years later, I thought, is that his lover? But I don't know who that was. I think he's just, you know how people tell stories to kids, they think they like them. You know, there's a demon living in the closet. I tease the kids when they come over. I said, there's an ogre under that couch who's going to eat your hands. The kids love it. They scream in delight. But he wasn't trying to do that. He wasn't really trying to frighten me. He knew I wasn't afraid of him. But they did live in an rather old house that was kind of, those 20s craftsmen. By the 70s, terrifying. So that's so funny because now I'm old enough to live in a house that I could have been built when I was built after I was born. It's still old and it smells funny, just like me. Oh, time travel. It's very complicated. There's nothing more unsatisfying by someone telling you you're already doing it. You're already time traveling for the future. That's not the kind I want to do. Obviously, I want to go see Romans or something. I want some Doctor Who quality time. Obvious time travel. I go into machine. I type in a year based on my religious tradition. Numbers, arbitrary numbers based on when I think God lived in a town. And then we go to a place. Do I have to put the place into? Yes, I put the place name in. I put my name for that place in the machine. And then we go there. So I'd be like, Italy in Italy in, and I'd say it like that. Machine. Time machine. Yes. Italy, 15th century. What's that mean? You figure it out. I remember reading essays, be like, when I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, I thought they were going to be flying cars and everything. Why aren't there flying cars? And I think, oh my God, for the love of God, I'm glad there's not flying cars. Think for 2 seconds. It wouldn't be the Jetsons. Good God. Flying cars. It's bad enough they're rolling around on the ground. Yeah, I want them in the air too, and on my top of my house, and in the trees, and everywhere. My goodness. Think for 2 seconds. No. No flying cars. Thank you very much. Bless you. Oh, I had the terrifying experience. I got to share this with you before I go on, because I know this is a cliche. So I'm delivering it to you just like let's say I just took my first plane flight and I found out, airplane food or cookies, peanuts, I don't know what. And now I'm pointing it out and you go, that's tired. Be that as it may, I had never in my life been in an IKEA. And I was just in one. And I got to tell you, if you have my same, whatever it is, neurological propensity or whatever, don't go to the lower area. Don't go. Like, go up, the showroom's fun. But don't go down, and they'll say, oh, go down into the warehouse now. There's no way out. They don't let you out. And it's seeing the signs are like seeing a faint blaze on a woodland trail. They've made it so is that an exit sign? I don't know. It's just like, it could be a smear on the wall or something. And it took me forever, and I was panicking, and I'm starting looking at those doors that say alarm will sound. And I go, well, the alarms, I'm about to sound one that's more shrill. It's me. It's my scream, my panicked screams of a trapped rodent, because that's how I felt. And there's nothing, I don't blame the store other than I blame them because they did it on purpose, clearly. But it didn't make me want to buy anything. It made me want to chew my way through something. And so I'm just pointing that out. I don't know. I know they got meatballs. Well, they should have put them out there. I would have, if there had been snacks on the way, I would have stopped and everything. Everything is backwards. It's not a dig on Sweden. Man, I like Eggstone as much as the next person. But, you know, and lingonberries or whatever else have, I don't know, the cardigans. But, gosh almighty, that store was confusing to me. And I know that's quaint. You're going, like, those were sitcom jokes 20 years ago. I'd never been in one. I don't know. It wasn't just now. If I should go back and watch them, and I will laugh again like it's fresh. It's like maybe I just now read about President Garfield, so all those old Garfield jokes they used to tell her. No, not the cat, but the president. Well, was the cat making a reference? If it is, now I'm going to get it after reading that wonderful biography by Shemp Davis, The Garfield Years. Check out that beard or something like that. This is a nice. It's history. But also you feel like you're there. Because you go, I have ignorant friends like that now. That sounds right. You are so important to me, WFMU listener. I don't say that enough, and I hope I'm encouraging enough. You know, I get silly, and I think, well, am I using this time enough to help or be nurturing or to spread kindness or anything or hope? I hope I am. It's not always what's on my mind, and I don't want to indulge my frustration or anger or anything. I'd love to be able to offer you food that I haven't accidentally spit in because I was, you know, somebody's barbecuing for you and they're going on about politics. I can't believe that. And you know, you go, oh, that's lovely. My vegetarian hot dog has a spray, saliva spray on it from your vitriol. So I'm not gonna spit on your wiener. That's my motto here. I'm saying I have this radio program. This opportunity is what it is. This appointment with you. We get together like elderly people that got nothing to do, and so they meet at the coffee shop in the morning and they complain and they drink coffee. And then one by one they perish. Sometimes they go to the mall and do it. I've seen them do it at the mall. That's us. But we're not perishing anytime soon. This is taking much longer than any of us thought it would. And we are getting to entertain one another. And that is so beautiful. Nobody can touch that. There are the secret lives of peasants that we have that are wonderful, where you have joy and that kind of baffles the negative, baffles the powerful, baffles the evil kings. They say, why are these people enjoying themselves? I feel no such joy. Why are they laughing? Oh, sire, because I don't know, I took everything from them. And this might be Grinch Who Stole Christmas. But, why are they happy? Well, you didn't take their drugs. Oh, I meant to take their drugs. Yes, you left their drugs. Well, that's why the Who's are all, because I know I took the roast beefs. So I don't know if am I misremembering? I probably am. Oh my goodness. Where you won't hide your joy. I hide mine, well, not literally up in you, but like in your Houdini Lockbox. That's what I call it. I need to go get I keep forgetting to make your colonoscopy appointment, folks. Forgot to make mine. I got to make mine. That reminded me. Get that Houdini Lockbox checked out. And what was his real name? Was it something Eric Weiss or something like that? Was it Eric Weiss's safe? Or I don't know what to call it. There's all sorts of euphemisms for the human buttage. And he's just famous because he put the most keys in his. Now, in the TV show that's been on one season, it's going to be on another one, Severance, they had a meal together where they didn't eat any food. And I've had those too. It's usually just the service is so bad. It's like, this is insane. We're never going to eat. And then sometimes you don't, ever. Did you ever have one of those things? You go, where did our server go? Some of that is me. I will go into restaurants and I will seat people and then I'll take their order and then I'll just go home. And I wonder whatever happens to them. And I look online to see if people have told a story or anything like that. And no, I would never do that. Gosh, who'd go around spreading the bad karma like that? Never. Think of karma as just motor oil. It's just, won't go away. You can hide it, but everyone's gonna know. Maybe not everyone. They'll know from the stink. That's the thing. Oh, you can always tell from the odor. I've tried hiding things away. I say I'm going to take these things I'm ashamed of, my selfishness or something, and I'm going to put it in a shoebox. And then I think, wow, what died? But it's me. It's a little bit of my heart died. And now it's rotting away. And again, good, bad smell. Weird, right? Strange. Got to tell me what it is first. Is that, gas or biscuits? I did a series of YouTube videos where I would learn a twin language and then go in and confront one of the twins with it. And they'd go, how do you, they're all called a white boy speaks twin language, shocks restaurant owner. And first of all, I love twin food anyway. So that's a good way to learn it. But I went into this place and the twins waiting on me. I said, can I take your order? And I go, like that. And he almost died. He said, how do you know my secret twin language? And I went, and he got real violent. And I don't know whether he thought that I was his twin and I had a body transplant and didn't tell him, or a face transplant. And didn't tell him, because there are all those shock shows now where people get face transplants and they don't tell their family, and then they show up with the new face and go, I wish you had told me. And it doesn't really match, and you look like a David Lynch special effect. You go, well, whatever. I didn't want that. Possession. You've seen that in the movies. Oh, my goodness. For a while in the 70s, we thought everybody was going to get possessed by throw-up spirits. Children were going to throw up all sorts of soups because of these demonic forces. And the movies were scary, and they would scare me. And I thought, Mama, am I going to get possessed? And she'd say, gonna get. My word, something's already in you, demon devil child. And we'd giggle, because I did throw up a lot. But I'm looking back, I'm thinking it could have just been all these stomach things. Kids lick anything. And the habit continued with me well into, I'd say, middle school, where you say, don't put that in your mouth. But, it's a way of exploring. So how am I going to know it's food or not? And I go, I guess it's not. Here's another thing about the imagination, is that if you are going to have a play, so I'm going to rehearse something. I've got to do a meeting. I got to show up Let's pick a town.
Pick my town, Hardy.
What town are you in?
Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, you're in Chicago, Illinois. I got to go to Chicago, Illinois.
How to say Chicago?
I did. That's fun. It's nice to hear your town's name. So let's say you got to go to Chicago and do a pick expo. Expo. I go to expos. So you're going to expo in Chicago where you have to do a presentation.
A presentation at the Expo Center.
I don't know if that is a place.
Okay.
So you've got to go there and do a presentation at the expo place, and you want to sort of rehearse it mentally. Now, who's going to be there, right?
My bid whist club.
Your bid whist club, and you know who's in that. So when you start to imagine it, you put your friends and acquaintances in the play. You cast it. You cast it like it's a play at the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater in Jupiter, Florida. Let's go back now, shall we, to the early 1980s. It's the Jupiter Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater and acting school. Your professors are Burt Reynolds, Charles Nelson Riley, and others. And you are performing a play called I Have to Go Do a Presentation at the Chicago Expo Thing for Work.
Bid whist club.
For Bid Whist Club. And so I imagine all the people there. Now, when you put them in there, you're going to have them saying things. And you will have them saying things based on your perception of them, your fears of them, but a lot of it, they're not writing their own lines. You're writing them. You have them saying things to you that they have not said. Now, consider that maybe other people are doing this, and you've got everybody's head is this off-Broadway theater, and you don't even know what productions you're in. You don't know how they're doing. You don't know what you're being directed to say. You don't know what part you're playing. And we can all do that to one another. And so these wonderful things that we have in our head that allow us to imagine and navigate the future, and I guess they're there because evolution. It's just it does help you to survive, to have paranoid fantasies about threats to your existence. It really does. It helps you plan. It's what produces the Three Little Pigs. It's that in a nutshell. So it allows you to accumulate that kind of survival information by going through scenarios. Just keep in mind that you are populating the scenarios with real people who are also fooled into thinking that they are the main character in this show of consciousness. And just understand that consciousness is a cruel thing, emergent property that just makes us insufferable a-holes. All of us. It can't be. It makes, you know why? Because if you get into a debate with somebody about consciousness, there's this people, you can tell as people start to think they're special, they really start believing that there's some sort of appendage of God. And that there's some omniscience seeing through. That's what consciousness is, some kind of manifestation of a greater awareness. Right? Instead of like a bug that just thinks it's emperor. And then we can see it in other things. I mean, just not in ourselves. Oh, sad little insect. Thinks it's something. Squish. If I was a frog, I'd probably fall in love with some protective coloring on the ass of another creature. It's like, that beautiful face. I've seen the most beautiful face in the world. And it's probably a moth with some blotches on the back, some Rorschach test of a pattern. And there I see into it what I want. and it becomes even the object of my desire. Oh my goodness, I have seen the face of God in a cloud, but it wasn't a cloud, it was something in my dream, and I think it was ketchup, but it was a land of ketchup, 'cause I had just seen Dune, and I thought spice as hell. What if they mined condiments? What if there was a land of condiments? And I thought that, oh, the mustard planet and the ketchup planet would be the red planet. We already have one. It's Mars. And ketchup never was made of tomatoes. That's a modern thing. Ketchup's made of mushrooms. Ketchup. And then I woke up thinking, I think I have just had a vision of the Godhead. Don't follow. You know, you should follow. Let's say, well, I'm going to get to that. Oh my gosh, but this is the time of the podcast where I want to tell you about yummy, refreshing drink. Refreshing drink is something that's going to get you through the day. I don't know how tired you are when you start your day, but I reach for one of these refreshings. Now, I know you buy it in the store and you're used to a Hearty White, not telling you to go buy anything, but refreshing drink is an exception. Bottled and made by local people who make it with their hands and don't spit in it at all. Refreshing drink gives 5% of everything they make to the people that they hurt. So there you go. It's like when your university has an office of not being cruel and unfair. Oh, good. I'm glad they've made a little nod to ethics. I used to have a chemistry teacher in high school where he's in the war, and sometimes a piece of shrapnel would shift, and he would just be talking about chemistry like that. And he just kind of freeze like that for a minute. Nobody, we were all very concerned, mostly. Nobody thought it was funny or anything. I may be the only one telling the story to this day. Leave Mr. Murray alone. I found my he would count on us doing the homework and learning stuff at home, and then he would spend class time talking about his students in the 50s. Saying, oh, Whitey had a fast car, and he would go out there racing, that kind of stuff like that. And I loved hearing the story about Whitey racing his fast car. But consequently, I didn't learn any chemistry. And that hasn't kept me from making friends who are chemists. And so, shout out to all my chemistry friends, like Dr. Topper at Cooper Union. Hello to you. Let's catch up sometime soon, Dr. Topper. And then you can tell me what I missed in chemistry. I'm not talking out my butt about anything, all right? Because I have filed papers with the government many, many times. Many. Every time I lose my passport, basically. And they know who I am now. They all Hardy. I'm sending you a couple more for different countries. I'm part of this club where they send you every month. You get a passport from a different country, and it's got your picture in it and everything, and a different name and everything. I love it. And I've been. It has. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It has the same initials as a famous spy organization, but it isn't. It is not the Culinary Institute of America. But I'm enjoying that, and so they send you the new passport, and also male grooming items, different ones like brushes, clothes brushes. A lot of them are old timey. It's cute how that's coming back. Men used to never brush their clothes. It's funny they don't even wear clothes worth brushing, but they're like, here's an old timey clothes brush for your beard. Here's some beard oil. I go, you know what the thing? Here's the thing with my beard. It's not going to be rubbing up any friction. I don't know, but I need to oil it. Really. If you're not playing Monopoly, open your hand. What's in it? One of those Monopoly pieces. Which one is it? Oh, the iron. You don't like the iron? No. Are you playing Monopoly right now? No. Then it doesn't matter that you got the iron. It only matters in the context of that foolish game where there's somebody else's priorities they have to do.
And it's all about wealth and accumulating it to the point where you're the only one who has it. Have you not noticed what happens in Monopoly? I mean, it's a cautionary game. You all start out with the same amount of money and you're having fun and everything, and then it becomes not fun. And all of a sudden, only one person has the money. And then they inexplicably, even if it's Sweet Aunt Alice, she turns into a dick. Because there's no way, not because it's built into the damn system of the game. And even if you say, well, we have the Simpsons version where it's all Simpsons characters. Well, I don't know what to tell you. You're too far gone. God bless you. Oh, my goodness. We're just being, I say we when I don't want to accept any responsibility for things I've said. We're just being silly here. We're a team. When things go wrong, we're a team. When things go wrong, and when things go right, I'm the leader. I am the general of the army. When we're retreating, I'm the bugle boy. I'm the flag boy, and I was kidnapped. Don't shoot me. I'm secretly the general. I know I'm kidding. No, so you can go back and forth. Every time I ask you to close your eyes, I know I'm taking a terrible risk. You don't all have the self-driving cars. Some of you are on public transport. I've asked you to close your eyes. You've gone to sleep. You wake up very far. I mean, when that happens in New York City, my goodness, you could wake up in Georgia. And does it go that far? If you don't get off, oh my God, it's crazy, I got on and got on the wrong train. Name a train. I don't know the trains. Just a letter or number. Z. I got on the Z and line, and I didn't know the Z line after a certain hour only goes to Dothan. So I got on it, and I'm in the deep south. Crazy. Just nobody on there. Just me. I shouldn't just me and CeeLo. And on there, I'm going, something's up. And down there in the south, whatever, dirty south. The goose that pooed pie. Everybody grew up with that story. There's a goose that poops out pies and nobody wants to eat them. Well, there's a couple things going on there. One is where it's coming from, a goose's vent. The other thing, though, is that there's no time going into it. They're just go, and the ingredient really is that it isn't something that can be made immediately. That's what makes it special. So, if an eclipse happened every day, it would just be the sunrise. So it's the specialness that makes it special, or rarity that makes it special, or it's something.
Here's the story of a prince and a baker. A prince and a baker. They were neighbors, but of different social classes. The prince made nothing, but the baker made pies. And his pies were good, and they brought joy to everyone. And everyone knew of his pies. So this is the story of the baker and the prince, and their proximity and inequality, and how that affects joy. Here comes the baker. I am the baker. Hello, I bake pies. And I bake pies that are good and everyone likes them, and that's swell, 'cause I like making pies as well. And so they come and buy my pies, and I try to make them all good, and I try to make them with fresh and good ingredients. To me, that's the most important thing. And they say, love is what goes, I think love is the care that comes from selecting good and fresh ingredients and using them. I'm the baker, and I gotta say that the joys in life sometimes are simple, like pie. Sometimes it's no more than that. That's what you need, is something made with care that will give you true delight. I am the baker. Oh, here comes the prince. I better go for now. I am the prince. I have come to your tiny little town in search of joy. I heard tell of a baker who makes a pie with no equal. A nonpareil, is that the word I want? There is no better pie. And he is the best at what he does, and I understand that the key is the ingredients. Just a lot of care goes into it, a lot of thought. That's mainly what he thinks about, is how am I going to take these ingredients, assemble them, using my secrets, all the things I've learned, putting the hard work and care into it, and then making something that's transcendent, that people cannot necessarily give to themselves. One of those things that requires another person. And I require someone who can make pies, because that is not my forte. I have many fortes. Is that the plural? Those are strengths. My castle is fortified. I am a fortress. I have fortitude. And now I've come for pie. Oh, baker. Yes, Prince, is that you? I am humbled by your presence. May I get you a pie? Of course. What's the best pie that you have made today? I have made a pie with the rarest of peaches. They are peaches that come from Fukushima province. They're very hard to get. Not the unsafe part. Farther west. Ah, I see. And they are very sweet and rare, and they don't travel well. So the fact that I was able to get these Fukushima peaches and make this pie, this is really something special. I spared no expense. I spared no hardship. And it's made with extra love, because I know that you represent our culture. Yes. All right, give me the pie. Here you go. That's a fantastic looking pie. Yes, and I will give you a discount. Discount? I don't intend to pay you, Master Pieman. Baker. Master Baker. Can we just say Baker? Yeah, Baker. I don't intend to pay you. Oh, may I ask why that is? Because you seem to have a real lot of money. I do. I have more wealth than anyone in the kingdom. Is it not a principality? I meant figuratively, yes. I have more money than everyone. Therefore, I don't have to pay you. Explain that to me. Well, see, the only reason I would have to pay you is because we had some kind of power equality, that we were equals, that if I didn't pay you, then you could exact some punishment or revenge, you see. If I just took the pie from you, you would demand something of equal value, either money or some even trade. Yeah, that's the way I usually do it. But see, here, there's no consequence for me taking the pie. There's nothing you can do. You are helpless. And so I'm giving you something of equal value. What is that? Your life. I'm letting you live, but I'm taking your pie. Oh, but you see, the pies cost me money. Now, how will I make pies for others? Well, what you should do is you should raise the prices for your poorest customers, because they're the most powerless and can do the least. And that way, it will offset your losses when I just take pies when I please. Oh, I see. But see, this could backfire. How is that, Baker? Well, what if they can't pay? And what if I just spend all my time collecting money and not making pies? And then my spirit of joy and love is affected, and the pies are not as good. Then I will force you to make more of them, and I will force others to make them for me. And if their quality decreases, I will increase my punishment and my anger until I have destroyed and killed all the subjects in my kingdom. So I know that you're find a way. Oh, I guess I will. So it's really up to you. You, O baker, maker of pies. It is upon your shoulders that all of this rests. You are the only one who has,
Morality?
yeah,
Ethics?
yeah, because everybody else, it doesn't matter. Ethics and morality are for the middleman like you. I don't use them. They're no good to the poor because they have no access to justice. Thank you for keeping things unequal, pie maker. The prince is leaving.
Goodbye, Prince. Thank you for taking my pie and leaving me with a moral and ethical dilemma.
The prince leaves, goes back to his castle. What a jerk, what a jerk.
What a jerk. What a jerk. I know. I will teach everyone in the kingdom how to make wonderful pies for themselves. I shouldn't be the only one anyway. Everyone should be able to make these pies. We'll all become pie makers. Even the prince. Especially the prince. We'll all make pies.
Thank you for tuning in to this play. Again, I don't know how you happened upon this show. You were looking for, I was going through the dial, and honest to goodness, I was looking for Eddie Money. And then you said his name. And I thought, well, he's not going to say any money and not play any. And I got bad news. This is Miracle Nutrition with Hearty White. I'm Hearty White. Miracle Nutrition. I wish I was in a smooth jazz group. Smooth. And everything we do would be smooth. Our lives would be smooth. All our records would be so smooth there would be nothing on them. Because there'd be no grooves, just smooth. But no grooves doesn't mean grooveless. Smooth is one big groove. Smooth Records. I wish every Bob was Bob James. I wish it was all smooth. I wish Diodato did not only covers of Richard Strauss, but all German music. Wagner, but also Heino. Smooth Heino. All of it smooth. Yes, I wish I was in a smooth group. That doesn't mean it would be bland and not inventive. You know what's smooth? Top of my head, mountains. They call mountains that are bald, and bald people mountain heads. I wish everything made you feel relaxed and at ease. Our music would say, there's no need to be uptight, because things are smooth. Smooth sailing. The smooth taste of cigarettes. Smooth sounds like soothe. People don't say the word sucker anymore because it has too many homophones. I love you. Smooth. I'll tell you what isn't jazz. Carpet. Not much jazz about that. And yet I have laid upon many a carpet and listened to beautiful music being played, sometimes all around me, because I will fall asleep in the middle of a smooth jazz group that is assembled in a circle like shape note singers. You could conceivably do shape note singing as jazz swingle singers arrangements. A cappella Ron Hicklin singers singing shape note jazz. The sacred harp chromatically played. Yeah. I'll tell you what's pentatonic, my hand. Everything else contains all the notes. Music is a spectrum. There are two ways of getting to the other side of a mountain. You can go over it. You can go through it. And you can go around it. And you say, oh, that's three ways. I say, no. It's two ways. And then a third thing. One of them is not a way. A way is more than a description of a solution.